Okay, so we're gonna finish the Camel game in this video. We're in part 7. The last thing that we worked on, I do believe we gave the enemies a name. Enemies is going to be a variable, and we are checking to see if they're catching up with us. In this case, I think we have done everything to the menu to give us all the options. We have run forward fast, we have run forward at an average rate, and we have won the game, I think. No, actually, that's what we're missing. We haven't won the game yet. We have been caught by the enemies, and we have run out of water. Our camel has died, things like that. But now we need to come to an endpoint. I'm going to load up the text from the book. We're going to be working on the last 3 steps. And we're going to check to see if the user has traveled 200 miles across the desert. And when that happens, then we're going to win the game. Make sure that they're not dead before declaring them a winner, and we already have some variables that are checking that constantly. And if they land on a mile marker 201 instead of 200, make sure that they still win the game. So we're going to be checking just to see that our camel crosses mile 200, not necessarily that the camel has done or ran 200 miles exactly. So let's see, let me go to my Repl, repl.it, and I'm already logged in. I'm going to log in to my Repls and pull out the last part that I have, which was Camel P6. I'm going to open this so that when it does, I can click in the code, press Ctrl A as in all, and press Ctrl C to copy. You can also right click and tell it to copy. And then I'll create a new REPL, and it's going to be in Python, and this is going to be Camel P7. Camel P7. The last part of the camel game. Now that it's created, I can click in the code area, press Ctrl V as in victory, and paste the code that we have. Going to give myself a little bit more space, and just to make sure that I'm able to read all of the code as I scroll up and down, I made the font a little bit smaller. I hope you can still read it. There's not that much left, so let's get to it. So we're checking in the last part here. We have this enemies. I think that I used to call this death before, but death, enemies, same thing. It's upon us. We're checking to see that if enemies, that is the distance, when we subtract the natives from the miles that we've traveled, if it's less than 0, that means that the enemies have caught us and we lose. The part that we're checking now, it's not going to be just, hey, are the enemies close, but just how much, not how far away we are from the enemies, but how many miles we have traveled. We have this one variable that we've been keeping track of all this time, miles traveled. It tells us how far the camel has gone. So if we tell it, well, if it's already 200 miles, then you're done running. You have crossed the desert. So I'm going to add, just before the enemies here, since that is what we're checking, I'm going to put in a comment saying hashtag, and saying this is where the game ends. So, although it doesn't necessarily end if the enemies are getting close, it's part of the deal, that the enemies are getting close. We're near the end. So we already do have this one message saying that the enemies have caught you and you lose. Now we're going to add the opposite. That is what happens when we win. So let's check. I'll give myself a little bit of space. I'll press enter, and I'll press, do I need a tab? Probably so that I am in the same line as the if statements above. I'll add a tab before that comment there as well. And then along the same lines, I'll say, let's see, we have enemies, but we're checking for the miles traveled. So let's have an if statement. If miles underscore traveled is equal not equal to 200. We want to check that we cross the 200. So let's say that it's greater than 200. And let's do that greater than or equal to 200. So in case we do land in 200, we're winners. Otherwise, it's not going to do anything until we're at 201. Then colon, and go to the next line to have our then statement. Here we're going to print a victory message. Print parentheses, quote, and slash backslash n to go to the next line. You have outrun the natives. You and your camel are kings! Exclamation point. Quote is closing, and there it is. And then the parentheses closes. I'll go to the next one. We are going to say that this is the end. Done is equal to true. It's a capital T R U E. And I'll press space and just an extra space there so that I have spaces in between. Enemies is still being checked. Then it's going to be whatever the mouse traveled are minus the native distance. And then if the enemies are less than or equal to 0, then that's when you lose. But we have declared us of winners when the mouse traveled are greater than or equal to 200. Otherwise, we just keep on going and going and going, and the game would never end. So let's give this a trial run. See what happens. Run. And on the right, welcome to Camel. We're going to go as fast as we can with C, ahead at full speed. We go 25 miles. I'm going fast, although the camel's getting tired. I know that I need to stop for the night, so I'll press D. I'll go fast again, C. And I am thirsty now, so I better get some water. Let me try it one more time. I hope I don't die. I'll go C one more time. The enemies are getting close, so I better drink some water. I'll drink water from the canteen. That's A. And the enemies are still close. I'll press C to go faster. And although I'm a little bit unsure of where we are, let me check the status. Do E and get a status check. We have traveled 71 miles. So we're almost halfway through. We have still 2 drinks in the canteen. Natives are 9 miles, so I better keep going. I'll press C to go far. Oh, the camel died. I forgot about the camel. Okay, well, the camel is dead. Let me run one more time, and I'll be more careful this time. So let's drink. No, let's go ahead at C and C, and remind me, and I'm talking to myself, my camel's already getting tired. I'll do it one more time, and I'm going to stop for the night. And keep going. Now I'm getting thirsty. I'll go one more time. C, still thirsty. Drink from the canteen. And C. And the camel's getting tired for the first time. So let's stop for the night. I hope that they'll catch up with us. They're 30 miles behind us. Let's go ahead at full speed again. And C. Your camel's getting tired again. Let me check the status. E. We are 115 miles out. Camel tiredness is 6, so I better stop for the night. So that's a D. And then C again to run. And now I'm thirsty. I keep on going. I'm going to stop this time and drink from the canteen, A. And I'll run again full speed at 26 miles ahead. We're 26 miles ahead of the natives. Let's check the status with E. We have run 152 miles. We might make it this time. C to go full speed. Camel's getting tired, so I better, let's see, let's stop for the night with a T. And let's run full speed ahead. I could have been running at moderate speed, but I'm trying to finish the game. Camel's getting tired, and I am thirsty. They are 22 miles behind us. Let's check the status with E. And what's happening? We're 15 miles away, so first of all, the camel's getting tired, and I'm thirsty. So let's drink from the... No, let's stop for the night. Let me think of the camel first. I'm going to stop for the night, D. And then I'm going to drink water, A. And then I'm going to try one more time, C. 22 miles ahead of the natives, C again. And we have outrun the natives. We left them 26 miles behind us, and you and your camel are king. So we have won the game. And that is the end of the game, and that is the end of the programming as far as the game is concerned, the basic game. The author makes a recommendation, and that is that we can add a 1 in 21 chance of finding an oasis. Print that the user has found it, refill the canteen, reset player thirst, and rest the camel. So we need to add a little bit of a routine here that will give us a 1 in 21 opportunity of getting a streak of luck and actually finding an oasis, so that we can drink and rest and do all those things at once. So we're gonna think about where we're putting this code. We're gonna play the game and tune the numbers, and I've already done this a little bit in past videos. You'll notice that it's not so easy to win. Actually, in the presentation of this video, I lost once, and that's fine. That's what games are all about. So let's see. Go back and look at the code again. I want to say that since everything happens inside of a loop, the loop begins way at the top. Remember from the original videos, we set in line 18 that we're not done with the game. The game is still going, and while this is the case, while done is false, we're still going. We're not done yet. So what I want to do is that while nothing's done, this is where the loop begins, and even before we present the user with a menu, I'm going to click right after the false variable, the Boolean variable, and press enter to go to the next line, and I'm going to generate a new variable, just like we did the enemies. This is going to be a new one. So let's call it Oasis. And let's say that Oasis is going to be equal, that's 2 equal signs, to a random number. And that's going to be random, using the rand range. So RAND range. And we're going to give it the range of, I think it says a 1 in 21 chance. So let's just do it at 20. Give ourselves a little bit better chances. And once it basically is just picking a random number between 0 and 20, and it's going to have that information, the computer does, and we're going to ask it, well, if this number that you just generated that we called Oasis, if it's equal to, if Oasis equals 2 equal signs, so actually, yes, if Oasis is equal to, I used too many equals on generating the random number. It should have been only 1. If Oasis equals to 1, so it's a 1 in 20 chance that it's going to be 1. We could pick another number. If you want, you can pick another number. You can pick 12. You can pick 18. It's up to you. The chances are the same. But if it's equal to this one number that we're checking to, then I'm going to add a colon. Go to the next line, pressing enter. We're going to print a message saying that, and I'll highlight it a little bit with some arrows. So I'll put in 3, I gotta put in the quotes first, 3 hyphens and a greater than to the arrow, and say you have found an oasis, exclamation point. You and your camel are rested and ready to go, exclamation point. So that just has a message. Now, to make this a real Oasis opportunity, after the parentheses, I'm going to press enter to go to the next line, and I'm going to reset then the thirst variable to be equal to 0. That means the player is no longer thirsty, and this is a free drink. You didn't have to drink from the beverages. The camel tiredness is going to be equal to 0. So without resting, without wasting any time, the camel is magically rested. And when we go to the next line, we're going to say that drinks will be equal to 3. So now the Oasis, not only did we get all the drinks we needed, we actually now have more. So we filled our canteen again. Pressing enter, and that space can stay there so that then the menu begins. So all this happens. This could happen the very first time. So maybe you can start with a a status that says that you found the oasis. Would you be wasting it? Maybe, but it doesn't hurt the game. I mean, maybe you just got lucky very early. You might never get lucky again. You might find the oasis every time. These are random numbers after all. So I'm going to run the program and just make sure that it's running fine. I'm going to give myself more space. Oh, and I guess I could change this. I don't know that it needs to be the Grand Prairie Desert. I just for spacing. I'm going to change this to Moby as it was originally, the Moby Desert. Once again, it's your game, so you can change the actions. You can change what the narrative is of the story. You can be in another desert. You can change the language of it. Just make sure it's class appropriate. I'll stop this again and run. And welcome to Camel. You have stolen a camel to make your way across the Great Moby Desert. And the natives are after you. So let's run. See, I'm going to go really fast. I'm kind of hoping that maybe I'll get... Oh, I went too fast, too quick. Well, let's run again. And go at C, and C. Now the camel's getting tired. Take care of the camel by resting. That's a D, stop for the night, and then drink some water, A. And then let's run with C. Camel's getting tired, so let's rest. Stop for the night. And the natives are getting close. C. You are thirsty. The enemies are getting close. Well, I need to drink some water. That is A. And let's go ahead at full speed with C. Camel's getting tired. Let's stop for the night and hope that we make it. Enemies are still close. They're 6 miles behind us, but let's get quick. Let's get going. The enemies are getting close. I'm kind of hoping that that we'll get to find that oasis, but we're not getting lucky apparently. We're now 18 miles ahead of the natives, but the camel's getting tired, and I don't want the camel to die, so I will stop for the night. And then I will drink some water. A, C, and C, and C, and well, we've outrun the natives, and you and your camel are king. So it's not every time that you'll get an oasis, especially since we have a 1 in 20 chance. Those are pretty high odds. Maybe you can change it to something like 10 so you have better chances because there's less numbers. It's, you know, do you have a better chance of hitting a 3 if you're rolling one die, or if you're rolling 3 dice? Well, the higher the number, the bigger the range is. So you could change, like I said, if you want to make this a little bit easier, you could say that at the very beginning, when it's checking for that random number, instead of saying 20, you can say 10. Don't make it 2 or 3, because then you'll be hitting Oasis all the time, and well, that's not really a game. One thing that I was going to change, since when it's giving me the messages, your camel's getting tired, there's plenty of good spacing here, and you're thirsty rather. Doesn't seem to have here the space, and the enemies are getting close. So I think that, well, it already has it. The camel tiredness is 5, your camel's getting tired, and getting close here. I'm going to add to this message before the enemies are getting close, \n right after the quote, so that it does space out. The enemies caught you, you lose. I think that since this is an important one, I'm going to also do the \n, and I'll put in equal signs and then make an arrow like that. You have outrun the natives. This is the winning. I'm going to put in maybe a message here with asterisk saying you win. And stress again, you have outrun the natives, and that's fine that you were thirsty, you have died of thirst. This is also important, so let's put in, if you don't want to put in these arrows, it's up to you. Maybe you can put in other characters. Now, this is a text game, so we're reading the whole thing. Just keep in mind that the logic that we're using, if this had graphics, would pretty much be the same, except we would be telling it, hey, you know, draw an image of a camel on its knees or something like that. But the logic we're following in making a game is very much the same as in your higher graphic games. So let's run again, see what we see, and I don't expect too much change. I'm within miles ahead, blah blah blah. See I'm running fast, my camel's getting tired. So this is a better message there with the spacing. Let's rest. So stop for the night. And we're running, we're thirsty. We're thirsty, we should drink some water with A. C, we're running. Camel's getting tired, let's rest. D. C. You are thirsty, let's drink from the canteen. And run again. Run. 41 miles ahead. Camel's getting tired, should stop for the night. And run. And run. And you win. Although the camel was getting tired and I was still thirsty, you still win. You have outrun the natives, you and your camel are kings. So great. This is the end of the camel game, and we have added all the logic. The author does have some suggestions there to play the game and tune the numbers so that it's challenging but not impossible. Fix any bugs that you have. It's very important that at any time that you're playing that you don't get an error, because if you do get an error, you need to fix it. That's what fixing bugs is all about. And that is the Camel game. And make sure that you save your game, that you go to Repl and get your Cam Help 7. I think that I meant Camel game. Well, this is a good time as any. Oh, it's Camel P. Sorry. Camel P7. Make sure that you copy this URL and turn it in for the assignment. And we have one more project after this. It's not as long as a camel. It's a lot easier, but it still has its little challenges. We should be able to complete it in one video as opposed to all of these, maybe 2 videos.